Do you ever have a desire? Do you hold any desires right now that you've been holding for so long they annoy you? I want to enjoy wanting this, but I've wanted it for so long, and it has been so long in not coming that now it's sort of a sore spot. I don't want to run into that friend who's going to say, "Hey, how about that? Did it happen?" So I've been avoiding that friend. Sorry I ever told that friend that I wanted that, because that friend seems like an ever-present presence to remind me that I'm failing at this most important thing that I want. We're poking around at this with a stick to make it a little sore for you, because we want you by the end of this day to come round to feeling exhilaration about each and every so far yet unfulfilled, not yet manifested desire that you hold. We want you to feel good about those things you desire that have not come into your physical manifested experience. Because by the end of this gathering, we want you to understand why they have not come. And more important, we want you to know where to focus in order to allow them to come. But all of this is not for the purpose of helping you to manifest desires that are currently stubborn and slow in coming. The whole point of all of it is so that you can ease up on that tension that you feel in what isn't yet here. Because if you can figure out how to give yourself a break, how to ease up on the tension you feel for unfulfilled desires, if you can feel easier about things that you want that haven't come, or about things that are currently in your experience that you want not, that you can't figure out how to get rid of, if you can come to this place where you feel ease, even though the manifestation has not yet caught up with the desire, then we will have done the work that we came here to do. Because we know that when you find a way of coming into alignment, which means letting go of tension, coming into alignment, which means lining up with ease, coming into alignment, which means letting go of regret, coming into alignment, which means finding self-love. When you find a way of letting go of grudges and find a way to come into alignment with the lover that you are, when you are able to come into alignment with the whole that is you, then your world will feel good right now. And after all, that's why you want everything you want, isn't it? Isn't every single thing you want, whether it's a material object or a state of being or a pile of money or a relationship or a circumstance or an event, isn't every single thing you want because you believe in the having of it you will feel better? And we just want to help you get it turned around in your own mind so that you can feel it in your own being. We just want you to remember that if you can get yourself to find a way of feeling good, regardless of what's going on. And by that, we don't mean look at awful things and feel good about them. We say find a way of feeling good no matter what's going on, which is really about focusing. It's about focusing as best you can toward what feels as good as you can find it. If you can do that, then you can train, and we mean that in every literal sense, you can train your own vibrational patterns into harmony with who you really are and what you really want. And that's what causes a releasing of tension, because that's what causes a releasing of resistance. It's resistance to who you are, meaning resistance to who you are with all of the things that you've been asking for. It's resistance to who you have become that equals negative emotion. So your negative emotion is not your enemy. Negative emotion is your very best friend, because your negative emotion is pointing right at your self-inflicted, and it is every time, self-inflicted resistance, which is the only thing that is holding you apart from who you really are and all of the things that you want. It will feel so good to you to rediscover your own personal empowerment. We see so many of you standing in a place that you don't want to be, with all kinds of uncontrollable circumstances surrounding you. You can't control your economy. You can't control your government. You can't control what's going on with terrorism and violence around. You can't control your own children. You can't control what's going on in your experience. And yet you keep feeling like if you could just control that, and if you could just control that, if you could just find the power to control those circumstances, then you would feel better. And we want today to show you the difference between what you think of as control or power and what we know is ultimate control and empowerment. In other words, when you are wanting to control someone, think about something all out of whack and you are feeling bad as you are observing it. Whether it's about your world economy, whether it's about your own personal experience, something that you cannot control. There are too many moving parts, and as you attempt to control it, you can't. Well, that feeling of control is right over there next to the fear that you've been feeling, right next to the despair that you've been feeling. That control that you try to muster is right there with revenge and anger, isn't it? That feeling of control that so many people want is way over there on the emotional scale, right next to your greatest disempowerment, where empowerment is on the opposite end of the emotional scale. Empowerment is you being in vibrational alignment or in vibrational sync with who you really are. That's your ultimate empowerment, you see. And yet there are so many people who are really against the idea of seeking any sort of control, because in seeking control there is a sort of not letting go. And we want you to understand that we agree. You cannot let go and allow who you really are when you are seeking power or when you are seeking control. But if you can find today, and we will lay it out for you in such obvious way, if you can find today the difference between control, which is an outside the vortex attempt at moving circumstances and events in order to get things in a place that they feel better, and true empowerment, which is getting into the vortex and therefore in alignment with who you really are, you will discover some keys that will feel like magic to you. Subtle differences in terminology, huge differences in vibration. And when you discover alignment with this energy that creates worlds, you will find true empowerment. You will find the empowerment that you came forth to express through your creative lens. We're eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you, but all day today, we will be shining a spotlight on who you really are. You think sometimes that the negative emotion that you feel is because you're looking at a condition or a circumstance that isn't pleasing. Someone said, "My lover left and I am sad." And we said, "No, you're not." And she said, "My lover left and now I'm sad." And we said, "No, you're not." "Abraham, what's wrong with you? Can't you hear? My lover left and now I'm sad." And we said, "No, you're not." She said, "All right, I wasn't sad. My lover left. Now I'm sad. I'm sad because my lover left." And we said, "We know that's how it seems, but you're sad because you're focused upon the absence of a lover, when in your vibrational reality is the presence of a lover. And what you want is the presence of a lover. And when you focus upon the absence of a lover, you tear yourself apart. And that's why you feel this negative emotion. You are assigning this sadness to someone else's behavior. We are assigning this sadness to your behavior. We are assigning this sadness to your inability to focus inside the vortex. That's hard to hear. Esther doesn't even want to hear that. Please give me just a little bit of, can't the universe just make me the one exception just this one time? Can't I focus upon the absence of what I want without it being my fault? Can't it be the fault of the person who is displaying the behavior that I'm focused upon? We say, well, that's conditional love if we've ever heard it. Now what are you going to do? Try to control the world so that you can feel better? Oh yeah, that is what you try to do, isn't it? That is what you try to do, but it isn't working out, have you noticed? You have a war on drugs and a war on terrorism and a war on cancer and a war on teenage pregnancy and a war on, and they're all getting bigger because when you push against unwanted things, you hold yourself outside the vortex where the solution is. And this is the most important thing that we want you to hear. Oh, hear this. We'll say it again and again until you get it. When your life and what you're sifting through, the contrast, helps a problem to come into focus, the whole time that problem is coming into focus outside the vortex for you, oh, you're going to love it. The solution is coming into focus inside the vortex. Thought for thought, point for point. Little problem, little solution. Bigger problem, bigger solution. Boom, 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 boom. We're not kidding you. In every moment that through life, you, blessed beings that you are, have carved out and defined with great detail the problem, without even knowing it, you've been carving out with great detail the solution. You just haven't known it because while you're beating the drum of the problem, you don't have access to the solution. But it doesn't mean it isn't there, and it doesn't mean we don't have access to it, and it doesn't mean you can't too if you'll come over here where we are. Don't you like that? So, the other day something's going on. Esther's feeling uncomfortable about it. She said, hey, the good news is we're creating something really wonderful over there where we can't see it. But it's good to know. Isn't it good to know? If we can convince you in this short time that we're together today about the existence of this vibrational reality, if you leave here accepting the reality of this vibrational reality, and then we're able to show you how you can focus yourself there regardless of what's going on over here in your reality, you will find relief immediately. A woman said, I cannot pay my mortgage and I don't know what to do. And we wanted to bring her into the vortex. We wanted her to think hopeful thoughts. She was really stubborn. She didn't want to really do that. She wanted to face reality. But once we were able to convince her that she can't, in this moment, while we're having a conversation with her, she can't produce out of thin air the money to pay her mortgage. It had gone far out of whack. She was not going to manifest those dollars that day, in that moment, in the hour that we spent in conversation. She was not going to manifest those dollars. So she could not change reality. And if her emotion depended upon her reality changing, then she was in for a long, hard winter. But if we could convince her that her emotions don't have to be dependent upon what manifests in this moment, when we were able to convince her that she could go into the vortex where relief is now, she can find relief now. She can't find the money this red hot minute, but she can find relief now, this red hot minute. She can find relief. She can go to the vortex. She can find relief. And once we were able to suck her in with our very clever, law-based knowledge, in her absence of resistance, the money came that week. When you release resistance, you release the only thing that is holding you apart from what you want. The difference is, so many humans aren't willing to release resistance until the help comes. They say, I want to be over there. And we say, what's over there? And they say, I don't know, I'm over here. We say, well, what would it be like over there? I don't know, I'm over here. Well, try to think about what it's like over there. I can't. I'm so unhappy about what's over here. We say, well, if you could just think about what's over there, you could shift the way you feel. And then vibrationally speaking, you'll be over there and then everything else will follow. Now, bring it to me while I'm over here and then I'll go over there. That's sort of what most people say. Show it to me. Show me the money. Show it to me. And then I will have a emotional response to what is. And we say, that really is the opposite of what the art of allowing is. The art of allowing is finding a way of allowing alignment regardless of what's going on in reality. It's also what unconditional love is. I'm going to find alignment with the love that is me, regardless of the condition that's going on. I'm going to discover unconditional love. I'm going to discover unconditional alignment. I'm going to discover unconditional releasing of resistance. I'm just going to let it go because it doesn't feel good. I'm going to let it go because it doesn't feel good. But you know, we've never seen anyone that could let something go without finding something else.